Hello, everyone. Good day to you, wherever you may be. I just wanted to talk through my response to this week's question. There were some really fascinating topics on the list, and it was really hard to come up with three, but I did my best. So let's see how it goes. So I picked my first question from the intersection of business communication and cross-cultural communication, and the question itself, as it was framed on the list, was how do organizations address misunderstandings in cross-cultural communication? So I find it helpful to come up with a topic related to the question. Helps me with my coming up with sort of a narrow question. So my topic for a study of this kind would be something like managing cross-cultural conflict in public relations strategies, the role of leadership cultural intelligence. So I've always been, for some time, been interested in cultural intelligence theory. So I thought it might be an interesting way to bring it into a study that looks at public relations strategies that deal with conflict and cross-cultural conflict. So the question that I came up with, sort of hopefully a bit more narrow and more focused, the question itself becomes, how do public relations leaders use cultural intelligence to address cross-cultural conflict as part of their strategic communication? So a study like this would in terms of methodology, might be quantitative survey or qualitative interviews, or even possibly focus group. Focus groups with leaders or public relations executives from organizations that are part of the Canadian Public Relations Society, and sort of asking and sort of exploring how these leaders are engaged with this concept, this theory of cultural intelligence, which I'm not going to get into all the theoretical aspects of cultural intelligence, but that would be a significant theoretical framework for a study like this. Now, in terms of justification, the key one would be globalization, and the idea that globalization has made businesses necessarily intercultural. You have arguments from scholars like Martin and Nakayama, who have articulated this idea strongly, that there's an imperative for businesses to be intercultural. So, an intercultural context, from employee communication to external stakeholder relationships, there is increased room for conflict once these conversations and interactions are cross-cultural. And the scholarship, again, from Martin and Nakayama, intercultural communication in context, as well as scholars like Stella Tingtumi, who have articulated theories like face negotiation theory that has implications for how conflict might be quite different when it's cross-cultural. So the idea here would be to also bring in scholarship in intercultural public relations, which is also a relatively new iteration of public relations, owing from the scholarship of Bei-Ling Shah, who in 2006 published a seminal article that argued that cultural salience, cultural diversity has a salient role in public relations. So it's become it's a growing area of scholarship, intercultural public relations. So the gap in this area would be the fact that intercultural public relations has not engaged with cultural intelligence theory yet. So I think it'd be interesting to fuse these two theories and look at how the cultural intelligence of public relations leaders might help them address conflict differently in the context of public relations strategy. So that would be my way of framing a study like that. Now, for my second topic, I picked a topic related to teaching because that's what I do right now, and this interesting research topics in that space. But the specific question from the list that caught my attention was this one: what communication strategies do teachers use to integrate technology into the curriculum? So again, I would reframe that into a topic, and then I'll tell you what the question is. So my topic in this case would be communicating about AI in academic contexts, examining the rhetorical strategies of university faculty. So AI obviously is a hot topic right now. So that would be the technology of consequence to talk about. My specific question would be something like this: what narratives do university professors employ when communicating about artificial intelligence? What narratives do university professors employ when communicating about artificial intelligence? And I thought maybe some kind of content analysis of university syllabi and looking specifically at the language that professors use to articulate AI policy do's and don'ts would be a way to sort of discover that in terms of the narrative. So looking at potentially syllabi of Canadian university professors across disciplines and pulling out, extracting some of the language on AI policy in the classroom and also maybe at the institutional level as well. So my justification here would be the rapid rise of AI adoption globally, which creates new opportunities but also new challenges. Will it replace humans? Will it eliminate critical thinking? Will it increase the digital divide? Now, AI has problematized education and is reportedly used widely by students and also by professors as well, according to some research data that I found. So there's also two competing narratives on AI in the classroom. One is what you might call the techno-pessimistic narrative, which suggests that there's significant danger from AI coming from plagiarism and the erosion of critical thinking and all of those concerns. But on the other hand, and I know this because I've heard some profs talk about it that way. There are some profs who are very optimistic, so they are the techno-optimists. And in their view, AI, if used well, can enhance learning and even support students with learning learning disabilities and bring about some measure of equity in the classroom. So there's these two narratives that I think might be interesting to unearth from the syllabi of the from the study. So I think theory might apply here. I think Marshall McLuhan's media ecology might be interesting to bring into this study. McLuhan's media ecology claims that when you introduce a new technology, it does have dual effects, that there's an extension in terms of allowing humans to do more, but there's also an amputation. There's a loss as well. So I think that might be an interesting way to sort of look at the syllabi and see how the narratives fit into media ecology theory. There might be other theories as well. For example, there's a communicative artificial intelligence theory of Andrea Guzman. That's a relatively new theory that I think might be of some help as well. Yeah, so that's my second proposal for a theory for a study. So my third topic comes from the religious side, um, and the question as it was framed in the list is, what themes emerge in the communication of faith through social media? What themes emerge in the communication of faith through social media? So I thought, well, this is what my topic would look like. Then I'll tell you what the question is. So my topic customized would be evangelical faith on social media, a symbolic convergence theory analysis of Franklin Graham's Facebook messages. So I've been interested in Franklin Graham's Facebook and other social media content for a while, so that's where that's coming from. And I do think symbolic convergence theory from the work of Ernest Bowman and its a methodology of fantasy theme analysis would be a really, really interesting way to examine the kinds of conversations that take place in that context. So my specific question here would be, what themes and rhetorical vision on evangelical faith emerged from the Facebook platform of Franklin Graham? So again, looking at that larger question of faith in digital spaces, but using symbolic convergence theory to do that. Justification, social media has become an important context for communication of faith with the rise of influencers. And in evangelical Christianity, you could argue that Franklin Graham would be one of those key social media influencers, well-known leading figure as well, and with a significant following on Facebook, and also significant content as well. Now, he posts widely on topics ranging from humanitarian work to faith, evangelical commitments, to political commentary as well. So there's a blending of all of these narratives on the platform. Yeah, so I think symbolic convergence would be a way to bring. Now, symbolic convergence theory itself was originally conceptualized for face-to-face groups, face-to-face community, but scholarship has increasingly used it for online studies because it seems well suited for exploration of online communities, and scholars have called for more research using symbolic convergence theory to explore and investigate online spaces, but very little has been done when it comes to the faith community and to digital religion in this context. So that I think is one reason why this would be justifiable. And maybe the last point would be in the context of Christian nationalism. A study like this might shed some light on how Christian nationalism might be expressed in online spaces, because scholars like Whitehead and Perry have linked Franklin Graham to this theopolitical orientation of Christian nationalism. So yeah, so I think it would, if it yields that kind of information, would be interesting as well. So those would be my three topics, and yeah, I'm looking forward to your feedback and thoughts. Take care.